Hey there, everybody, it's Pastor Jason. I'm glad you can join me for our daily devotional in Psalm 62. You might hear some echoing. I'm in an empty household. That's right, I'm in my new house. The Wi-Fi was up and running, so I figured I'd give it a whirl, see how it was. Let me pray. We'll get started in Psalm 62. Father, thank you for your love and kindness in our lives, your generosity towards us, Father. It is from you that all power comes, and we should not put our trust in anything else. We just thank you and praise you for your Son's sacrifice on the cross for each and every one of us. Help us to be neighborly. Help us to have grace and peace with those around us. In your name, amen. Here we go, Psalm 62. I'm going to try to straighten myself out in the camera here. Here I go. That's more like the middle. And let me start reading. My soul waits in silence for God only. From him is my salvation. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my stronghold. I shall not be greatly shaken. How long will you assail a man that you may murder him, all of you, like a leaning wall, like a tottering fence? They have counseled only to thrust him down from his high position. They delight in falsehood. They bless with their mouth, but inwardly they curse. My soul, wait in silence for God only, for my hope is in him. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my stronghold. I shall not be shaken. On God my salvation and my glory rest, the rock of my strength. My refuge is in God. Trust in him at all times, O people. Pour out your heart before him. God is our refuge for us. Men of low degree are only vanity, and men of rank are a lie. In the balances they go up, they are together lighter than breath. Do not trust in oppression. Do not vainly hope in robbery. If riches increase, do not set your heart upon them. Once God has spoken, twice I have heard this, that power belongs to God, and loving kindness is yours, O Lord, for you recompense a man according to his work. Okay, Psalm 62, certainly pointing out what we should put our trust and hope in. So our 5 questions: what do we learn about the Lord? What do we learn about man? Is there a sin to avoid, a commandment to follow? How we come in a way changed, all apply here today. So let's take a look. What do we learn about the Lord? It's from him that our salvation happens, that we get our salvation from. He is our rock. He's our stronghold. So if we're in him, can we be easily shaken? No. And I love the transition there. In verse 2, it says, I will not be greatly shaken. So there's times in our faith when we're going to have some, like our emotions will stir and we feel a little bit of anxiousness or a little bit of worry. But I love the transition when you read it again later on in verse 6. It says, I will not be shaken. So take heart that we can learn to trust in the Lord more and more. What else do we learn about the Lord in this passage? Look at the very bottom, that power belongs to God. Loving kindness is his, and that he will recompense, he will reward a man according to his work, especially if that work is robbery and trying to tear people down. So what do we learn about man? What about man? Is there a sin to avoid as we learn about man? Well, that evil people will plot to destroy folks, that they are like a leaning wall, like a tottering fence, like the disaster is going to strike at any moment. It's all going to fall apart at any moment. That they delight in falsehood, that they bless with their mouth, but inwardly they curse them. It's like this whole idea of, I want to say, oh, bless your heart, I love you. And yet inwardly we think, oh, you're an idiot, right? We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. And then verse 9 and 10, men of a low degree are only vanity. Men of rank are a lie. So in other words, and then if in the balances they go up, in other words, they are esteemed by men, but really instead of in the scales, they are esteemed by men, but together they're lighter than breath. There's no there's no substance to them. And then sin to avoid. Don't trust in oppression of somebody. Do not vainly hope in robbery to support yourself or to find a way out of your predicament. And if riches increase, do not put your trust or your heart upon them. It's easy for us in the American Christian culture to think that if you're financially blessed, you must really be, right with the Lord. We don't set our heart upon our riches if we find ourselves to be affluent. So is there a commandment to follow? Well, I would tell you, learn to not be greatly shaken or be shaken at all if you can. Have more and more trust in the Lord each day. Recognize what the Lord has done to help you through the day that you've just gone through, or yesterday, or the day before, or the week before, or the months before. Be reminded of how the Lord has come through for you, and the next situation that comes along, it's a little bit easier to trust Him and to trust Him even more. Why? Verse 5, our hope is from Him. I love the way it puts it there. Not only is our hope in Him, but our hope is from Him. Trust in Him at all times. Verse 8, pour out your heart before Him. He wants to hear you, and then take refuge in Him. He is our refuge and our rock and our salvation. Well, that was Psalm 62. I hope it was a blessing to you. Go on out and be a blessing to those around you. I'll see you tomorrow with Psalm 63.